The variable y varies jointly with x and z. If y is 15 when x is 2 and z is 3, find y when x is 7 and z is 4. Evidently, this problem is an example of a joint variation because the statement varies jointly. And when we say joint variation, it's an extended form of direct variation where we only have one dependent and there could be two or more independent variables affecting it. Here, in this given situation, it's the variable y that varies jointly with x and z, so y becomes your dependent variable. And the remaining variables x and z are your independent variable. Before we could solve, we need to properly identify the correct formula that will represent the problem. And since this is a joint variation and you already have the variables, here our formula is y is equal to k, x, and then z. Notice that this is again an extended form of direct variation with two different variables now become our independent variable affecting the dependent variable y. K is your constant of variation or constant of proportionality. We will be solving for that first before we could solve what is unknown. But first, let's try to determine here the variables. So we have x and z for our independent variables, and the result would be y. In our first statement, y is 15 when x is 2 and z is 3. So these are the values we'll be using to solve for the value of k later. The next is the different values that follows. We are going to solve for y. That's what's unknown. When x is 7 and z is 4. So let's use these values first, solve for k before we could solve the unknown. So we'll have here y, that's 15, is equal to, k is still k, times x, which is 2, times z, which is 3. We will have 15 is equal to k times 6 or 6k. But since we will still be dividing that and multiplication is commutative, it's okay to write that one. Make sure to do the same thing on the other side. And k is equal to 15 sixths, or in lowest terms, this is 5 halves. This is the value of k for this given situation, and that will be used to solve for the unknown using the same formula. Y is equal to k, x, and then z. K is 5 halves. It's okay to write in fractions so that it would be easier for you to cancel if there are things that could be canceled later. X is 7 and z is 4. Applying the correct rules here, we could use this one. 4 divided by 2 is 2. We will get a result of y, which is equal to 5 times 7 is 35 times 2. You will have 70. So this is the result for this problem. In sentence form, you could write it here that y is 70 when x is 7 and z is 4. Or the value of y is 70 when x equals 7 and z equals 4. This ends the process. The more you practice, the better the chance to understand math. This is a direct variation statement for math success. Let this k, the constant of variation, be this channel. In other words, the more you practice with your subscription, the better the chance to understand math. Subscribe now.